Hello everyone. I was thinking of doing a short tutorial on my Parquet tool, the one that I use in order to parquet my flippy right over here. But instead, I thought of why not include all these tools into a GitHub repository, the one that you can also see in the screen. These are simple tools that I have created in Houdini to make my life easier, and I hope they help you too. I will try to include the chapters in the video so you can skip to the parts that you're most interested in. But first, let me show you how to get the tools and how to install them. The tools are available on my GitHub page. You can find the link in the description of the video, and I will also include it right here, right there. You install them the same way that you install any other Houdini HTA tool and toolbar. But for your convenience, I included in the GitHub repository a package file, the JSON file at the root directory. That file you can use to install the tools. For a quick review on how to do this, first you need to download the GitHub repository into the preferred location. Then, copy the package file into the package folder on your Houdini preferences, which is located in your Documents folder. Open the package file in any text editor and change the NHTools path to the location where you downloaded the repository. Save the file and restart Houdini. That's it. You should now see a shelf called NHTools in the Shelf tab and a new group in your tab menu in subs called NHTools. So I'm going to be using this scene from an R&D that I did like a long time ago in order to show you what each of these tools do. So once that you install the tools and you have the shelf tab in place, I would really recommend you to add shortcuts to them, particularly the shelf tool, since these tools are mostly useful if you add shortcuts to them. As you can see, I already added shortcuts to each one of them. And in order to do it, just simply press Ctrl Alt Shift and then click on the tool and it will take you to the hotkey manager. You just add the shortcut that you want and that's it. The background X tool basically loops through the different background colors that comes in side effects. So instead of going to the display in back and having to go to background and then change the color this way, I basically just press my shortcut, which is Ctrl Alt Shift B for background, and I simply swap between them. It's very convenient. The Mode X tool is basically the same thing of background X, but for the display update. As anyone who has worked in big trees or simulation knows, once that you start doing something really heavy, the auto update can become very burdensome and slow, and sometimes can cause crashes. So you find yourself constantly passing between manual and auto update or on mouse up. I usually use only these two, auto update and manual. So I basically created a short script that does exactly that. And as I mentioned before, I map it to a shortcut key Alt Ctrl Shift M to quickly pass between them. Before getting into the XNamer tool, I want to show you what the center node tool does, which I mapped Alt Ctrl Shift C. The mapping here is really important because what this tool does is basically, let me show you here. I will bring these two nodes that I have on my far right under my nose by simply pressing that shortcut key. This can be very useful when working with really big trees, when complex trees, and you have an object merged in one position and you want to bring it right under your mouse. And scrolling up and scrolling down, it can be kind of confusing, trying to grab it and drag. It can become very complex, particularly when you have a lot of wires. So this shortcut key can be very useful. Just select, position, and drop. The XNamer tool, this one right here, simply creates a XX prefix onto any nodes that you have selected. For example, here I will select all these three nodes and I will just press the XNamer and it will have the prefix XX and made all of them black. If I click it again, it will just remove the prefix and make them green. Mostly I use this tool in order to later filter out any node with the XX prefix from my operations, be it render or any simulation. Let's go and see the tools inside the subcontext. Let's go inside GeoExamples. Here I have my space station that I created a while ago. I'm gonna later use it for other examples. For now, let's see what tools we have. Let's start with the better tube. The better tube is just basically that. I'm gonna hide other objects. Yeah. It's basically a nicer tube with better topology. Control the height, the amount of rows, the columns, and triangulated caps. I just like the more different radius for each one. It's just basically that. I think that the labs team has made something similar already, but probably when I did it, it didn't exist. Now another one is NHTools, another convenient geo. Just basically creates details. It has proper UVs and the size. It's in order to quickly render some motion graphics or anything that you want. Next tool is, let's see, we have the Parquet. Parquet is indeed, you connect any grid to it and it will parquet it for you. And yeah, there's delta error, different offsets and such. And then we have the Parquet floor plans. For that, I will go to another file to explain what it does. The Parquet floor plan is basically the same as the Parquet tool, except for any floor plan. So in this case, I have this gigantic floor plan. Imagine that you have like a building with different floors, and it will parquet it for you. This is actual geometry that you can destroy. Mostly, that's different than to do it with texture. And it doesn't need to be these rectangular angles. You can draw whatever, as long as it's a closed shape. You connect it and it will parquet it for you. That's it. Other tool that I have is the split by name tool. This one is very utilitarian tool. Basically what it does is splits the geometry by any primitive within their name attributes. In this case, you can see I have a lot of different names. Once that I connect it, it will split it into the different name attributes in order for you to be able to work on it. You can dive into it and it will have all the parts separated and work on each of them in a completely different way, merge them back in, or if you prefer, you can just click on expose splits and it will expose them in your network as such. Obviously, this is not in order to replace a for loop between the names. It's in a lot of time when you work with artists, they will give you some files that they contain a lot of things and you need to do different things for each one of their categories. So this can be very useful. And the last tool that I have is mostly to test tool and give some useful information. The UDIM number. In this case, for example, this model has different UDIMs. And what this tool basically gives you is, first of all, once connected, into the detail attributes you will have num UDIM. It gives you the numbers of UDIM that you get and the UDIM max tile. This is important attributes if you want to do something later. You also have a parameter that it will update to the num UDIM number. Can also be useful. You can color the UDIM tile to test that everything is in order. With that, I think those are all the tools. So I hope you find this tool useful and that they help you in your daily work. I will keep updating the repository with new tools and improvements, so feel free to check back for updates. If you have any suggestions or feedback, please let me know in the comments. As of now, I remain frustrated by the lack of good asset management system for small studios or individual users. I'm really looking into maybe creating something like that. Let me know what you think. Enjoy the tools and happy vexing.